Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and Justice League Monday. We have reached Justice League International number 22, part of the overall invasion storyline that was going on through the whole DC universe at the time. All these different alien species ganging up on a little old Earth because we had so many superheroes and it freaked them out. We see on the cover Oberon, sidekick of Mr. Miracle. Looks like he's doing a whole Rambo thing there. Story by Giffen and DeMatteis, art by McGuire and Rubinstein. So let's take a look at Oberon Unleashed. It starts off with a little convo between Maxwell Lord and Oberon, who are talking about the invasion and that most of the League has been called away to serve in the Pacific. Part of the storyline was that the aliens had primarily invaded in Australia. That was one of their key landing points. So there was stuff going on around there. And Max is worried. Max being worried worries Oberon. Let's get that a little bit out of the way. And it also turns out that Booster Gold has been left behind on monitor duty, and he's not happy about that. I want to fight the aliens. I want to fight the aliens. I want to fight the aliens. So that's kind of what's going on back in New York. In the Justice League International Embassy in Australia, it's obviously been taken out. We see a big hole in the wall here. And so they still have this teleportation tube. All of the different embassies have a teleportation tube that they can use to get to the other embassies. The aliens have seized it, and they're going to send some folks through. And in fact, they're going to send through the Imskians, who, if you are a old Legion of Superheroes fan, Shrinking Violet was, I think, an Imskian, and they can become very small. So they're going to send them through to cause a little havoc. Well, back in New York, Booster and Oberon are playing checkers. Booster's losing. That's because he's used to three-dimensional checkers and not this antique variety. So Oberon says, well, let's play another game. I'll go get some more Oreos and milk. Booster would prefer vodka. And as he leaves, they hear the teleportation thing go off. Well, the wiring's bad. Maybe that's all it is. So Booster goes off to check. And we hear in the background, Zoff, Zoff, Zoff. And Oberon says, Zoff, Zoff, Zoff. Thud. Okay, so he goes to check on Booster, and what does he see? He sees these little dudes. Another one, blast him, and they start shooting at Oberon. So these are the Imskians. They are out for blood. Maxwell Lord happens to be leaving at that moment. And he's not listening. Max. Oh, Oberon, I'm glad you popped in. I've been called away on very important business. But Max, wait, you just, time's of the essence, my friend. I've got to run. So he figures that, he can hold down the fort since there's nothing going on. And he's not aware of the itsy bitsy teeny weeny alien invaders. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny. Yeah, this is definitely a Justice League book. So they keep on zoffing at old Oberon, who decides to run away up the stairs. They're calling him a coward. I'm not a coward, I may be a chicken, but I'm not a coward. And so this way, he went inside that. Wait, I wonder what I wonder is that strange rumbling sound, and what I wonder is that strange thudding sound. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Well, that would be a bowling ball. This now looks like a episode of Action League Now. Bowling ball comes down, takes a couple of them out. He's kind of laughing. Well, maybe I shouldn't call him tiny. People have been making short jokes about me my whole life, and I should be sensitive enough to, boom, boom, boom. Or zoff, 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 I should say. So off he goes running, slams the door. That should hold him for a little while. And it turns out he's in Blue Beetle's room. Hey, that's a nice wall-length poster. I think I see a Godzilla or two up on the dresser. That definitely Booster's room. So he knows they're going to get through that door pretty quickly. He's searching around in the closet. We're finding roller skates, underwear, etc. And he found it. I hope the batteries work. Just as Brack, there goes the door. And here's our invasion little date. They put this in all the comics showing what was happening in different issues. There was an invasion miniseries, and then you obviously had it continue to different stories. So they're coming right at him, and he turns around with his light gun, whash, and takes them all out, knocks them all unconscious. So Oberon has won the battle. He has saved the embassy for all mankind, I guess. Okay. And at that point, Booster sort of wakes up and he's like, doesn't know exactly what was going on. He goes, "You kidding? My one chance to see a little action and I'm taken out in 5 seconds. Well, it was more like 3 seconds, but why quibble? Thanks, Oberon. I really appreciate that." Okay. Well, we're now going to join the rest of the League off in the Pacific. They have teamed up with Wonder Woman, which the guys are very, 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 very excited about. Well, except Guy Gardner, because, he's not real good around strong women. But Blue Beetle, obviously, and, Rocket Red they're both pretty happy about this. And so basically what's happened is Etta Candy, a character from Golden Age Wonder Woman. Now, I think they've altered her here a little bit here. She is, trapped behind enemy lines, maybe captured. And Wonder Woman is going to go after her. And what they need is the League to sort of support that. And so a couple people are going to go with Wonder Woman to rescue Etta. And the rest of them are going to try to deal with the Khund, one of the alien invaders there with their fleet. That's the general idea here. We see them meeting with this general. "The woman has valuable intelligence. It's imperative that we get her out. That's the job Wonder Woman has volunteered for. As yet, there's only an advance force of Khunds on the island, but the main occupying army is on the way, and the Justice League is needed to delay them until Wonder Woman can complete the rescue. What do you say, Jones? What can I say? The JLI will do what must be done." Okay. So Rocket Red and Guy Gardner are going to go off with Wonder Woman, and that's going to be covered, I believe, in an issue of Wonder Woman. And so who's left behind? We see Blue Beetle. Figures Guy gets to go with her. Yes, but you get to be with me. Huh? You say something? See, now look. Well, I know Wonder Woman is like a goddess and everything, but, Green Flame, I mean, come on, Beetle. You can do better than that. Of course, Hawkman is annoyed at these guys who are behaving so childishly, and Beetle's annoyed that he's not behaving more childishly. And so they got a special job for Mr. Miracle, special job for John Jones. We're going to find out what that is in just a minute. And then we have Katar there. Let's save the world. Katar, will you ever lighten up? Not if I can help it, darling. Now let's go do what we do best. Oh, I'm sorry. Then let's save the world. My love, you're one of a kind, and I wouldn't have you any other way. I'm always going was Hawkman that's stodgy back in the day? Not sure if he really was. I think it's probably from the post-crisis they decided to make him a little more, give him a little more personality. Here we see the Khund invasion fleet. Very impressive, with this sort of odd-looking ship in the middle. The rest of them a little more angular-looking. So it's heading off, and on that ship, we have the commander there. "Have you located the problem, number 2? Nothing to worry about, Commander. I'll be the judge of that. Your business is to report." And he basically reports, "Yeah, there was a problem with the hatch, but we dealt with it, And he's saying, hey, don't take that lightly. Somebody could have gotten aboard, Well, we're not. He goes, "But we're not scanning anything, so we're probably okay." And he's like, "Well, it is said that some of Earth's defenders have the ability to become invisible and to change shape. Who the devil My name, Commander, is John Jones, the sole survivor of a ravaged world. I will not see the same thing happen to Earth. So, Martian Manhunter has gotten aboard the ship, and he seizes control. It goes flying off away from the rest of the fleet. They're all like, hey, what's going on? What's happening here? They send some fighters off to deal with it. And here is where Mr. Miracle comes in. He and Blue Beetle have to use a sort of makeshift boom tube to jump onto the ship while it's moving, which they manage to do. So we basically have these guys, they have, fighters in pursuit. The Hawks do their bit to take one of them out with, almost looks kind of like bazookas. And, there's a bit here. Let's move. There's still one more thing to do. Qatar, admit it. You're enjoying this. You're excited about being in the league again. Well, that's what I thought. So he is probably having some fun fighting bad guys with a team, even if that team annoys him. So these guys are hurriedly trying to rig something up. And John's letting him know the shields are down. Hurry. No shields. The dilithium crystals are fused. Kun's about to detonate the Genesis device. We're not going to make it, are we? Beetle, will you stop playing Star Trek and just pay attention? Okay. So the typical Blue Beetle type stuff. So here come the fighters. They got him in their sights. They're ready to take him out. We see, you kind of see barely here, a little white sort of mountainy looking thing suddenly growing. And all of a sudden, it gets bigger. They run into it. It's ice, created by Ice Maiden, who basically makes this makeshift ice, pillar that hits their ship. She goes, wow, I am wiped out. I've never tried anything that ambitious before. Well, you did a beautiful job of it, Icy. I don't know why everyone says your powers are so stupid. Yeah, well, hey, who says my powers are stupid? Another F-Troop Larry Storch reference. That's two, everybody, in case you're counting. Well, maybe I'll make a little Corporal Agarn score thing that I could put in the side here. Except this will probably be the only other time they do that joke, but maybe I could do that. Another unit destroyed. I want that ship and I want it now. And destroy that island. Oh, they're pretty mad. But it turns out that the ship is suddenly coming back, And he says, okay, lock a tractor beam on them. I want them alive. Alive, sir? Why? There's no pleasure in torturing dead men, number 2. No pleasure at... And then it's like, tractor beam on, sir. Sir, scanners aren't picking up any life forms on board the craft. What are you talking about? They're surrendering, you fool. Well, sir, this may seem a bit presumptuous of me, but have you given any thought to the idea that this might be a... What? Spit it out, you fool. Trap? Kaboom. So, Mr. Miracle and Blue Beetle were setting up some kind of an explosive that was going to create a chain reaction and take out the fleet. And here are the conquering heroes heading home. We won a battle, Mr. Miracle, but the war goes on. Somehow I knew he was going to say that. So we get a little wrap up with Wonder Woman, who apparently was successful in rescuing Etta Candy, and talking to the general. And, then we get the obligatory, but should we be taking pleasure in destroying the Kuns? They're living beings, I know, John. I know. I don't. I cries with every death. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I get it. And I'm not exactly a big fan of warfare or killing. I'm not a fan of it at all, in fact. But on the other hand, well, these guys did sort of decide to invade. Had they not done so, none of them would have died. I don't know that you have to take much pleasure, but you can take pleasure in not being killed yourself. Well, at any rate, hey, you two, word's just come down. Time to head back to the States. Going to be a big superhero summit. The war continues. Oh, and Wonder Woman? Yes. Did anyone ever tell you you have beautiful eyes? Beetle. Okay. Next, in the aftermath of invasion, the JLI faces the all-new Anti-Justice League, or something like that. They're still fighting over the name. Okay, so we get a little bit of a war issue. Kind of split in two halves. The first, Oberon taking on some little Imskians in the New York embassy, and then in the Pacific, the League assisting in fighting off a fleet of alien warships. You know, pretty standard stuff, but some good action, a little comedy, not a bad issue. But again, you know, the problem, in my opinion, with things like Invasion and Millennium, and if you want to get down to it, like Secret Wars 2 and all that stuff, is it kind of derails the monthly books. I almost wish they would just do the full story in like double-sized issues of a mini series and just leave the regular series alone so that they could, well, tell the stories they were trying to tell and not having to do these sort of little inserts. Now, of course, the whole point of the thing like that is to get people to buy a lot more comic books, so they're not going to do it that way, but whatever. That's how it is. Let me know what you think in the comments of Justice League International number 22, Oberon Unleashed, the Justice League going up against aliens, which they did a lot of back in the day. In fact, I think the 12 issues that I reviewed in that one Avengers Justice League video I did, I think they were going up against aliens in almost all of those stories. Like 90% of them. That was a big thing in the 60s. Maybe not quite as big a thing once we got to the late 80s. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe, share with a friend. But until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I will hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.